news, I have with me Meghna. She's the founder and CEO of CrediWatch. So let's understand from her startup journey and how she really made it so far. Welcome, Meghna. So before I really come to the questions, can you tell me about your startup journey, how you started and how you made it so far?
So, I'm a lawyer turned entrepreneur. So, before I started this business, I used to be a corporate lawyer in New York. And I used to work with a lot of cross border startups. And when I worked for about 17 years with over 500 different companies, I got the itch to start my own company. And, we kind of discovered, when India was getting digitized, that there's a lot of information available online. And when financial services industry was expanding and there's a lot of investment in fintech, I think the key problem everybody wanted to solve was to find a way to lend in an effective way and to reduce NPA. So I kind of felt that the experience I had of being a lawyer, of understanding risk, could be brought on to create a product where we could kind of help assess companies better for risk. So that's the story of how I founded CrediWatch along with my co-founder. So we're about 7 years old, and we use the power of data science, and we use both structured and unstructured data and data from several sources to be able to create the right kind of credit score and risk assessment on a business, especially small businesses, because in India small businesses don't have a formal credit score, and they also don't have access to proper credit.
So, I'm like meeting first time for to a person who was a lawyer and now turned to an entrepreneur. So, how was this shift for you? Was it really smooth and was it challenging? So, how was your journey?
I think that it was quite, an interesting journey because from being like a full-time corporate lawyer to being a technology entrepreneur, there was a lot of learning curve. But it's always important to have a good co-founder, and my co-founder is very well versed with tech. That's his background. So because of that, we were kind of able to build a product that got, a lot of initial recognition and acceptance.
If I talk about your product, which is CrediWatch, so how do you really, help startups out there? How do you really help the general public? So, who is the main audience for your like startup, and how do you help people out there?
So, CrediWatch is very useful to help small businesses, including startups, to be able to, one, internally assess their own customers. So, apart from banks, actually, about 13,000 small businesses are using CrediWatch. So, all of us have customers and we have a payment cycle. So, so many times our customers pay us late and then we get stuck into that working capital requirement. That happens to us. We are a small business too, and everybody's stuck in that cycle. So CreditWatch is useful, the scores that we create and the risk assessment, not only for banks to identify whether a business is credit worthy, but for us to understand what are the risks that our customers could potentially have. For example, if there's a case filed against a customer, he may not pay me on time. If there's another event that happens with a customer. So now we're working with about 13,000 plus small businesses that use us for credit control. So they are able to monitor and assess their own vendors, partners, customers to see if there are any risks or early warnings that could help them collect better and make better decisions.
Also, Meghna, you started your journey when technology was very limited. Like 7 years ago, technology was not at a level where we are today. So, how you got this idea? Like how you started a technology-based startup back then, and was it challenging?
So, when earlier I used to be a corporate lawyer, we used to actually look at physical paper and files to find risk related information, right, on a potential business because I was doing mergers and acquisitions. But, when India started digitizing about 10 years ago, a lot of information, especially about businesses, became available through the RTE, the right to, information, on digitally available in the public domain. So different government ministries made a lot of information available, especially about businesses, because India has kind of subscribed to the open data movement. So that time it was quite fascinating that you had so much of information available. In fact, I think when the government first digitized, I think about information of 2 million private limited companies became available in the public domain from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, right? At that point, I realized that there were 5 credit rating agencies in India, and we had credit ratings of only 25 or 35,000 companies. Mostly they were listed, right? And there was no official CIBIL score. And then we looked at the fact that there are 2 million MCA registered companies, but there are 60 million small businesses, which are not even companies, but they're businesses that exist. So when we looked at that entire landscape, I felt that, if this sort of rich information about companies that becomes available in the public domain can be used to help them get better access to credit, I think we could solve a huge problem. I think India currently needs about $1 trillion of loans. I think these businesses need as of today. So that's the reason I felt that if there's only 25,000 ratings, then we must partner with the ecosystem to help assess credit.
All right. So it was really nice talking to you, Meghna. We hope that your startup do really well and wish you all the luck.